Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. It is Angela, the Traveling Crafter, and I am here today to fulfill a commitment, and that is a tag that was initiated by our friend Carrie at the Paper Monkey, and Carrie was tagged by Janie, who is the Crafting Bookworm. And if you don't know Janie, go check her out. She not only, obviously, by the name of her channel, crafts, but she also does some book reviews and such. And so if you, too, are a bookworm, you might want to go check her out and subscribe. So thank you, Janie, for hosting this hashtag My Journal Journey. These are the questions that Janie has initiated. And at the end of this, I will be tagging someone. However, I'm going to put this up here so I can read as we go. I thought I would work on, I was doing the Smash a Stack, and I had asked you guys if you wanted me to do some embellishing, and that video has not come out yet. Maybe it did today. Nope, it did not. So I don't know if he said yes or no, but I thought I would do something while I was answering these questions. So I will be doing a little bit of decorating. So let me tell you, if you're following along, normal suspects, your glues. I do have some inks over here to the side. I have some stamps that are art related because that's what my stack is. I've got some washi, a little thing of laces. I've got my whole stack of all of the things that I used. And then I've got my little thing of embellishments and fussy cuts and things that matched with the papers that I have. So that's what we've got. And you have to excuse me. I have had allergy issues all day. And I did a video that airs later in the week. And I was just sneezing up a storm. It was ridiculous. But one of the first questions that Miss Janie asks on her list is, when did you start making junk journals, and show us your first? Well, I will start by saying, I'm just going to flip through some while I talk for a minute. Not my first. I believe, though, this was my first altered book. I don't keep a lot of my journals for myself. I either sell them or give them as gifts. So, oops, it's upside down. So I just grabbed a few and I thought I would flip through. But when did I start making junk journals? Making journals. I'm terrible with dates, but I know that it was about the time of the pandemic. And, you know, that I found that time was a great time for me to just get creative. And so I was working on doing some courses, online courses that I was developing on mindfulness and meditation and the neuroscience behind happiness, and kind of combining that with my love of art. And I kept seeing things that were related to junk journaling. And so I decided to try my hand at it, to make a very long story short. And I have been doing that and many other crafts ever since. So that's kind of how I got started. And as you know, I've been a lifelong learner of the arts. So I'm not afraid of trying anything new. I'll try anything once. And if I like it and it sticks, then I'll do it again. Junk journaling stuck. This is my first Midori style one that I just experimented with. I think it's Midori. Is this Midori? Yes. So what that means is that I can there's a middle part, and this was just for me to play around with. And I just made the cover out of wallpaper. So all of these can come out, and I can replace them and add. There's a lot of room in here to add. So this was just a wallpaper journal that I did. And then lastly, I just had this one that I experimented with when I did my 100-day challenge from around the house. This one isn't even done. I haven't glued this down or anything. One of the challenge items was straws, and this is like a boba straw. And so I used this as my spine to secure my spine on there. So it's just a little sample. And we did this on a video together, so I did keep this as kind of an inspiration, so I didn't forget that I made this one time. But those are some of my journals. Sorry, I don't have my first one. I don't think. Well, no, I have my first lap book I did. Yeah, so I apologize. And the next question that Janie asks is, okay, let me just take a pause. This is the stack that has nothing's been done to it. This is the stack that I've already either decided not to do anything with or have finished. But I wanted to show you really quick. In a couple of days, I have a random haul. And I received some Give a Scrap mail and a sweet Mother's Day card from Kara at Paper Confessions with Kara Mia. And then some Happy Mail from Gardens and Books. And I used a lot of the things that the two of them gave me. And I'm going to use this too. In this project, like the envelope, all the things in there, this. So that was really fun. It all kind of, this went with in there. So between the two of them, I got to finish a couple of pages that will go along with this kit that all matches. So thank you, ladies. But I'm just going to work on this random stack and see what happens while we visit. Did someone inspire you to start making junk journals? And if so, who? Not one person in particular. I really enjoyed kind of just surfing YouTube and seeing what caught my eye, and it was probably more of a style, or if somebody like, for example, oh my gosh, now her name's escaping me. Natasha at Treasure Books. I enjoyed watching her videos. They were very easy to follow. If I wanted to learn something new, I would gravitate towards her. I watched, some of the heavy hitters. I watched Gail, Augustinelli. Who else? I'm trying to think of the ones that I really gravitated towards. Tracy Fox, I did watch some of hers. I did watch Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. So, I just think that and then there was tons of folks that had channels that, just the interest that I had popped up, and I found a lot of the folks that are my friends now through, just searching, like Celeste at Woodland Inspired, Carol at A Crinkled Path, Lori at Enchanted Dreams. And, there were certain things that I enjoyed about each one of those. For example, Celeste does a fabulous job with die cuts. I won't even try to aspire to be like her. But I love watching her, and I am always awestruck. Carol, I love her memory journals and watching her create that way. So, I mean, there's a ton. I could go on and on and on. But not any one person. It was more the timing of the pandemic and, my mental well-being and health, to actually do something that was fulfilling to me. And, it's kind of like, okay, if you're going to be writing content and creating about mindfulness and your mental mindset, then you probably should be doing something for yourself. So, Ange, get on it. And that's what I did. My journal style. Well, I don't know that I have one, to be very honest. I guess I would say it's very, and maybe I've said this before, I don't even know. But it is very similar to my design style, my interior design style. And that is eclectic. It is extremely eclectic. My motto is, the rules are, there are no rules. And, you know, I stick to that. That just because, you know, so this example that we're working on right now, you know, all the colors are kind of coordinated and such. And that really, truly is it's a little bit of a challenge for me because I am not matchy-matchy. So I would say my true design style is absolutely eclectic. Now, now she may ask this later on, but maybe not. But I would tell you, I gravitate towards, I love very bright colors. You know, my favorite color, one of my favorite colors is orange. I love lime green, red. So any primary color is always going to be something I'm drawn to. I love the pastels as well, so I love shabby chic. But I think if I had to choose the type of journal, what am I trying to say? If I could only pick one style of journal to make, it would be the retro Dick and Jane type of book combined with you know, because you can farm, you know, home and garden, those kind of things based on a lot of the stuff that's in those books. So it would be basically just retro journals using readers and doing farm, cookbook, home and garden type of journals. So God said, you got to your craft room. Out of your craft room, you got to choose one thing. That would be the style that I would choose. Because I think it allows me more creative play. And it allows me to be more diverse and not matchy-matchy. So, yeah, that would be it. Let's see. Do you use a theme to get started on your journal? Well, it's funny that she asked this question because I recently just launched on my Ko-fi site, and this is my process. It is not, you know, the Bible of paper crafting, but it's the way in which I enjoy and work best when I'm working on journals. And I do usually start with either a theme or, you know, maybe it's a particular book. You guys have seen a lot of my Bolo books or things that I have brought home. So yes, I do start with a theme. However, whatever that theme is, especially if it's a book, the cover is the last thing I ever do. And I know that is backwards to what a lot of folks do. But I just feel like the contents of the journal speaks to me and kind of helps me decide what the rest of it will look like. I thought about putting this there, but I think it's too, no. How long does it take you to make a journal? Well, that is a great question. I would say it truly depends. Gosh, I can make some journals in a day. But those that I'm making you can make a journal in an hour. But those that I'm making to sell, I would say it just depends on my mindset, the time of day that I'm working on them. I am very much a morning person, so if it's late in the day, I'm not going to be as productive. I just know that about myself. So, I don't really have a great answer for that. Truthfully, I'll be, the naked truth, according to Angela, there are some journals that I still have not finished. I have, well, I guess one in particular, and that's my fairy journal. I was so excited about doing it. I had a bunch of cool things to make, and now this has been, I think, 2 years since I've picked it up again. I do have it in my short list in my bin to work on, but it's still not done. And it's not because I don't have the time to do it. I just I wasn't inspired. I just wasn't inspired anymore. And I would encourage you, if you feel the same way, you know, if you're like me, sometimes you're like, well, I started it, now I got to finish it. And I am very much like that. But what I realized in my art is that's ridiculous. If you do not feel, I want this to be writing space. I did want that to be writing space too, but hey, you know, put it aside. Yeah, I mean, no, there's no art police that are going to come after you and say, come on, girl, you didn't, or guy, you didn't finish this. What's your problem? And, you know, we're our own worst enemies. There's nothing, no one's, as I say often, we're not saving lives here. We are crafting and creating, and we're saving our own sanity by doing so. And one of those things is to be able to say, I'm done. I'm not in the mood to work on it, and I'm not going to. So give yourself permission for that. I promise it will serve you well. I don't know. I didn't mean this to be all philosophical or anything, but I do think that it's important to share. You know, there's an artist in all of us, and if we want to continue to make beautiful things, we have to give ourselves permission to know when to call an audible. Take a different approach. Okay, I'm going to call that one good. This was another piece that we had done before. I put this one in the back. I don't know if it's going to stay there. I might put it there for now. Awesome. What is the first thing that you do when you are starting a journal? Well, I will tell you that, and do I have any out? Yeah, I have one I can show you. The first thing that I do, I've got my theme. I kind of know what I'm going to do. And this heater's a little warm. I will get a bin, and I'm going to show it to you. This is a journal, a true journal project. And I was going to make for my daughter, but I'm not sure that she's really into it. But this is, I don't know, I think they might have used these at hospitals or something. It's about 10.5 by 14 little bin. And so I will accumulate everything that I'm going to make. So I knew that I was going to make like a happy planner type of journal for her. And so then I'd get all my papers, any of my pretties that would, I know you can't see this, but you know, all of the things, and I put them in one place. I try to get all my textiles, all my trims, and pop them in here. And usually it is way more than I will ever need. But it's all in one spot. And that is how that's the first thing that I do when I start my journal. After, of course, I've decided what I will be working on. So, this seems like it calls for some stamping. I still have not found my piece of cork that I usually use, but I think we'll make some of these. So it's pretty simple. I do not overthink it. Sometimes I do have to tell myself, stop overthinking it, Angela. When I'm working on a journal, I find that if I don't just go for it, that I end up it kind of paralyzing. What I call analysis paralysis. So I don't overthink it. I just start making the journal and go from there. Now, I don't know if I want to put all of these on here right now. but I do want to see what this looks like. What style cover do you prefer to make or use? Cloth, hardback, soft cover. Can I say none of the above, Janie? I guess they kind of go hand in hand. My go-to and my favorite type of journal to use is a binder journal, whether that be one like a Better Homes and Gardens or my hands are just filthy. Something that's already there that I cover. I love to make soft cover quilted journal covers. I've made some of those from vintage quilts. So that's always a fun one. But I really like to use binder journals. Very, 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 very much. I'm trying to decide what color to use here. It's going to pop. I have charcoal. Let's try charcoal. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I'll try it on a separate piece of paper here. Let's see. What else? If you make a soft covered journal, what materials do you use? Oh, see, I should have read that beforehand. So soft cover, there's two types of soft cover journals. Besides using a quilt, what I usually do, depending on what the quilt itself, what the condition of the quilt is, sometimes if it's in good enough condition, I can just use the quilt itself and let it just be a soft journal. I'll put some pockets in it. So around it again, and maybe add a few embellishments. And then that's if I'm not going to do anything with it, except for maybe sell the cover or, use it in the future. But if I am using, say, just a quilt top, then one little trick, I've shared this before, that I use is not everybody has batting or something similar that will work. Oh, gosh, I love these. Well, we'll keep those too because they're gorgeous. That looks beautiful. Not everybody has that. But one thing that is very inexpensive and very readily available. Look what I just did. Wrong side, and wrong side. Is felt. And you can use your quilt top, lay it this way, put your felt on top of that, and then I will just use, of course, use a light colored felt if you can. Well, I guess it doesn't matter if you're using dark fabric inside. And then I just sandwich that piece of felt in between a piece of muslin, or, maybe I have a different kind of fabric that I want to use, and that quilt top. So you could use it with just a couple pieces of fabric, and then I sew it all together. And sometimes, depending, if I've sewn fabric together, I'll sew around each piece and the felt first before I put on the back. Sometimes I just sandwich it up and just go for it and sew around all of it. Sometimes I do it all willy-nilly. It totally depends on, what seems to work for that particular project. Oh my goodness, I love that. One of the other ones I wanted to use on here, but I don't know if it will fit. Let's see. Do you use ephemera that you get in a kit, or do you prefer to make your own? That's a great question. So let me back up. As some of you know, I make a lot of my own digitals. And one of the things you will probably see if you've purchased my digitals, that other than maybe a tag, or a journal card that's very simple, or just a single like die cut, I don't do a lot of ephemera pieces. Like, I won't make a pocket that looks like a pocket that then you have to cut out. And here's why. Because I know a lot of people do, and I've used a lot of digitals that others do that. But for me, I want the freedom of being able to create whatever I want. And so I would rather be able to just take a plain piece of paper and create my own pocket or my own tag or whatever. So to answer the question, it is normally, that's not something I'm drawn to, but I do support a lot of makers who do digitals. And so absolutely I will use their ephemera, but I do prefer to make my own. There's just something about my, I call it my Sunday morning sesh. It's couch crafting. And, my husband Dave and I are just sitting there watching his shows, because I'm usually not watching anything, and having our coffee and just starting with a blank slate, a simple 8.5 by 11 piece of paper or 12 by 12 piece of paper, and seeing if I can create something new to me. And that doesn't mean that what I'm creating is genius or anything like that. Oh my gosh, I love that. The simplicity of this, you guys. Like, look, it's just a lavender piece of paper. I can do something else with it later. And then the secret of life is in art. Isn't that cute? I don't know that I want to do anything else with this now. I want to exercise my opportunity that when I put it into a journal, that I can play around with it. So I'm going to call that good, but that was fun. Let's see what else, if we have anything else we can stamp on. So I don't know, like, I did a tag for Tag Your Turn, which was yesterday, actually. And I'm sure somebody else has probably created it. But that was one of those Sunday morning sessions that I just sat down and I was like, okay, how can I make something different? I didn't know it was going to be a tag. I had no idea what I was going to create with it. And I just started playing around. And the tag that I made yesterday that was it. And I just have so much fun doing that. And like I said, who knows? Things are oftentimes redone over and over and over again. So don't let that bother you. Just, create. If you want to create it from a kit and that's the easiest thing for you to do, you do that. If you want to take the time and just let your creativity run wild, do that. The rules are, there are no rules. I don't know that I like that. Well, I do like it there, but I don't know. I want it like that. Let's see. Do you enjoy participating in prompt-inspired projects? And I think what she means by that is, like my 100-day challenge, or Marguerite Miller's collage challenge. For things like that, for like a collage where I have to go gather things for every, I don't enjoy that. It's too limiting to me, and the time that it takes to do that is that's not my cup of tea. I love what she does, and I think it is a fantastic way, especially for beginners, to try their hand at something new. But I did do a challenge, a hashtag, the 100-day challenge ATH, which was around the house. And I just computer generated. I didn't pick them out. I just, used AI and had it pick out 100. And I don't think it quite picked out 100, but 100 different things from around the house that you could use in art. And that is also on the on my Ko-fi shop, also free. And I committed that for 100 days, every day, I would create something, whatever that prompt said. And I did it. Now, did I enjoy it? I did, because I did and I didn't. I did because it truly stretched my imagination. It made me, I don't like this. I really worked. I thought it through and took a lot of time in deciding and planning. And that was super, super fun to me because it allowed me to just get crazy creative. But 100 days, I know, you know, a lot of you guys do the 100-day challenge. Whew, mama. It's a lot. I mean, so if you see those folks out there doing those, give them some kudos, because it's not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of preparation, a lot of planning. But boy, is it fun. So, yes and no is the answer to that. How many journals have I made so far? Oh boy. You know, that is something, if you guys are new to if you're a journal maker, and you are new to it, I would say to you, oh, that's adorbs. I would say to you, keep track, because that is a great question that I could not answer, even if I couldn't even attempt to tell you. I just can't. A lot. But I would say probably not as many as you might think. Like, oh, okay, estimate. Let me estimate while I'm gluing this stuff down. Let's see. 100 or less, I would think. Because I'm not sure how many years I've been doing this. And I couldn't even tell you how many I do in a year. But if I did, say, 12 to 20 a year, that would probably be pretty accurate. I know sometimes I can do many more a month. Or I've decided to do 5 at a time or something like that. But, you know, I don't know, somewhere around there. But I also do a lot of other things. So, you know, I might be upcycling something for my house. I might be working on my assemblage. I guess my art is pretty varied and versatile. So, I'm not just making journals, if that makes sense. So, there you go. Oh, I was like, what is this on? It was on the cover. What do you enjoy the most about making journals? I think it's the freedom of unlimited possibilities, or as I say, the rules are there are no rules. It's junk, you know, and it would otherwise be going to the refuse or going to the dump. So using those otherwise discarded things and saving them is, I think, something that really gets me excited. And I would also say that really one of the most exciting things for me, and it is, I don't know if it's necessarily creating the journals, but I truly love having a channel. I have taught adults. I was in sales and leadership development, and I even did technical training when I worked for the airlines and flight attendant training. So I've been an educator most of my adult business life. So this comes very natural to me, and it was one of the things that I missed most during, you know, after I left and started working for our businesses, was the educational component of of a job. I mean, I loved it when we'd get to do when I would do like team meetings and things, team building, things like that. So this kind of lit that fire for me. You know, it brought me back to what I really love to do. And so that makes my paper crafting side, or anything that I do on the channel, even more fun to me, because I feel like if I can make a difference in one person's mindset or confidence that, yes, they are an artist and anyone can do this, but no matter if it's junk journaling or anything else, all it takes is just a little perseverance, maybe a little bit of patience, and, you know, a friendly voice that maybe you've never met before, whether it's me or somebody else that you can relate to, that gives you that confidence. I mean, and I think I'm going to leave this alone because I don't know if I want anything. I'm thinking words or, oh, wait, we can do something. I still have these out. Then I'm doing what the good Lord intended me to be doing. It makes me very, very happy. So, yeah, that's kind of a roundabout answer, but it's the truth. Okay, so we're going to pop this on to, we're going to make this our last little, I'm going to put it over here, I think, project, and then I will say goodbye to you, and I'll tell you who I will be tagging. Okay, let's not do this the wrong way. Use the right side of the ink pad. Speaking of ink pads, I was a little bit sad. You know, close to my heart is going out of business, and the majority of my inks are from, a lot of them are from a long time ago. The one I just used was a newer one, but I've been using them since I've been scrapbooking, and I adore them. And so I thought, well, gosh, you know, they had all these big sales and stuff when they were going out of business, and I thought, I'm going to hop on and grab a bunch of inks because I'm really sad. I hope they last, these stamps last another, you know, 20 years. And there was 0.00 on their website, so that was sad. So I guess I'll just have to see if I can find somebody where I can buy some. Stock up. And there we go. Sometimes all you need is a little splash of color. Amen to that. Okay, so my friends, thank you for joining me in this little crafting journey. And thank you, Janie, for hosting my journal journey. I am going to tag my friend Bex at Black Whisper Crafts. So, Bex, if you're up to it, I will send you this information, and I would love for you to participate. So, I will be in touch. And again, thanks, Carrie. And if you don't know these three fine ladies, go over and join them on their channels and subscribe. Carrie the Paper Monkey, Bex at Black Whisper Crafts, and of course, Janie at the Crafting Bookworm. So I appreciate y'all, friends, and until next time, remember to take time to just be. We'll see you soon. Cheers.